My name is Clint Fox, and I am one of the adjunct faculty here at Bowling Green State University. In this class, Aural Skills 1 can be a challenging class to teach because every student comes in with a completely different level of where their ear is. And we're now 6 weeks in, and at this point we're starting to get some stability. And what I try to do, some of the students can just naturally hear what it is we're playing. That's what ear training is being able to recognize something and writing down or playing back what it was. For the students who struggle with that, my job is to get them to learn how to do that, incorporating theory knowledge, just overall musical knowledge, and not just trying to hear it as random tones and spitting it back, but rather putting it into a bigger context, much like if you were sight reading a piece of music. So at this point, the way Aural Skills 1 works is we start with just the 1 chord and the 5 chord, and then stepwise patterns or arpeggiations within those 2 chords. Just last week, we introduced the 4 chord as well. So what we heard was a harmonic dictation with 1, 4, and 5 chords. We do melodic dictation or contrapuntal 2-part dictation. What's more challenging now is sight singing, since we're inside and we're not allowed to sight sing in close proximity. But when we teach the remote breakout sections, the kids are allowed to do sight singing, which is looking at melodies and recognizing what it is using solfege. So I hope you found this class helpful, and thank you. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. Let me grab so I can talk into the mic. As promised, a melodic dictation. Bass clef. Bass clef. Our key of the day so far, which has been dog minor. So you'll want to notate your key signature. It is 2/4 time, 8 measures long. Now, there is another melodic dictation that I have for you guys a little bit later. That one is going to deal with more of the primary chords. This one will be along the lines of what we were just doing, which is outlining the 1 chord, stepwise material. But here's what I want you to think about as you're doing this. Think about your 1 chord, think about your 5 chord. Because we are in D minor, our 5 chord is going to be what quality? Major. So to make that major chord in D minor, we need the leading tone. One of the guiltiest sins I see Aural Skills students do in their dictation is forget their leading tone, meaning forgetting to put the natural or the sharp in front of scale degree 7, and it depends on if it's a flatted key or a sharp key, what you would do to make your leading tone. So we're in D minor. Anytime I tell you, this is for the rest of your lives doing dictation, and you guys watching as well, prospective dictation people. When you are told it's in minor, think, who's the leading tone? If I say melodic dictation in C minor, think to yourselves, I'm gonna want a B natural. Melodic dictation in F sharp minor, I'm gonna want an E sharp. Remember, the leading tone is always, he always lives, just a half step beneath the key that we are in. So even if you get a little bit confused about it, draw a little picture of a keyboard, look at the note and go, that's my leading tone. And do not forget it, because I like to tell the students, dictation is hard enough. We're going to lose some points. Let's not lose those points because of silly mistakes, such as forgetting the leading tone. And that's true in harmonic dictation, 2-part dictation, any of the dictations in minor. So the fact that we're in D minor, our leading tone is C sharp. Now, does that mean every single C will be sharped? No, it doesn't. But it means if you hear what sounds like the leading tone, I'm sitting on scale degree 7, it feels like it needs to pull the tonic, that is your leading tone. And especially in harmonic dictation, if it's the 5 chord, then it is most definitely going to have the leading tone. So I already told you this is going to be 8 measures long. Okay, that's probably going to freak out some students. I don't think we've done a dictation that long. Maybe we have, doesn't matter. But it does freak some people out. Here's what you've got to realize. Most likely, it's broken into 2 phrases. And we talked even in the second week of the semester, what is a cadence? That point of rest. And if you've got something 8 measures long, what cadence might you find at the end of measure 4? A half cadence. What chord would you have at a half cadence? Your 5 chord. So you're thinking all of this before I even play you the first note, which is going to be D, by the way, because it's going to start on Do, and I'll tell you that in a second. But now you're already thinking, I bet it's going to be 2 phrases that are 4 measures long. I would think it will probably end on a half cadence. Now, what you haven't learned yet in theory is that you can have parallel. A parallel period would be 2 phrases that start the same, or contrasting. So you've got a 50% chance that my second half of this dictation is going to start just like the beginning did. So it's not really 8 measures that you're going to have to worry about. I mean, it is 8 measures, but it's not 8 different measures. This is all stuff you want to be thinking. That's the technical word, stuff that you want to be thinking when you're doing this dictation, so you're not just sitting here going, okay, I'm ready, whatever note you play, I'll write it down and get lost after 3 notes. You want to have a game plan going in. So you guys ready for this? My hope is that you do the best on a melodic dictation so far. It's our 6th week of doing this. I know some of us at the beginning, it was a little lost. Some of us were like, I could do better. Let's see if you're constantly improving. That's the goal. Not to ace it, but to do better than you did on the last ones. So let's get this thing set up. There's your key. As I said, it was bass clef, and your first note will be a quarter note D. So that D3, quarter note. One, two, 1, 2. Do you guys hear the half cadence? Halfway through. Now, unfortunately, it's not really all that parallel, because the second half is, for the most part, different than the first half. If any of you have the answer, or what you think is pretty close, come on up and just put it on the board. I thought blue would be good. Thanks for doing this. All right, guys, last hearing. Let's see how we do. Two, 1, 2. Thank you for doing that. I'm going to play what she wrote on the piano. And we're going to see if it matches what I originally played. Sounds pretty close, because that's exactly what I played. I'm going to erase the beautiful melody, which it was actually a very beautiful melody, and notated fairly quickly. Well, this is why, before we do our dictation, we write down 1, B, D, F sharp, 4, E, G, B, 5, F sharp, A sharp, C sharp, and I underline the A sharp because it's my leading tone, and I know I'm going to have to artificially create that. So now I heard the soprano stay on B, I heard the bass move up, didn't go up an octave, F sharp, A sharp matches the 5. B, B matches the 1. Now on this particular chord, we heard the soprano stay on the B, and I can't remember what you had. I think you had a G in the bass. That's right, I'm sorry. This is originally what you had. So again, you heard the bass moving down, wasn't really sure what it moved to, but we need to match it onto, it has to be a B, an E, or an F sharp, because we're only dealing with root position chords. So we heard it come down, we know there's a B in the soprano, and we heard, hopefully, that the chord changed. And I will play through this again once I'm done lecturing about it. And it dropped down to that E, which gave us our 4. We need to look at that and go, I have no clue what the bass is, but I'm confident in my soprano. Confident. And I know the soprano stayed on a B, and it kind of sounded like the same chord, and the bass went way up high. So I'm going to put it on a note that is the only note that has G. And since I'm dealing with root position chords, it has to be an E. So kind of what I am showing you right now is how to get a perfect dictation without hearing anything but half of it. And you know what? Maybe you only heard half of it, but you would want a perfect answer better than a 50% for an answer. And it's not cheating. You're using deductive reasoning and clues to solve the crime. That's what you're doing. And the more you do this, the more you will hear. But if right now this is a test, and you only are confident in 50%, let's at least get 100% of the answer. Yeah, it's a win-win for everybody. We get to that last chord, we got a B in the bass, got an F sharp. It's going to be the 1. Because if it ended on a 5, it would sound very unstable. It needs to go somewhere. Good class, guys. I will see you on your beautiful computer screens and phones and iPads in 24 hours or 48 hours or 23 hours. Have a good Monday, guys.